Developed by Technos Japan and released in North America in 1992, Super Double Dragon is the fourth entry in the Double Dragon series. For once, it isn't a port of an arcade game, being developed exclusively for the Super Nintendo. But is there anything super about this game besides the fact it was on Super Nintendo? Let's review it and see. To start, the graphics for this game are disappointing, which is understandable because it is an early NES game, but even by the standards of the day, this game didn't look very good. Final Fight came out around the same time, and the graphics of that game blow this one away. Music is definitely subpar with a few memorable or enjoyable tunes. The gameplay is slow and methodical, with even basic enemies requiring a lot of strategy to overcome. The Lee brothers walk slow, which is great when trying to appear confident, but sucks when you're getting your ass kicked and you can't get away. The punch has been replaced by this pimp slap. Yeah, it's probably a palm strike, but come on. You can kick high or low, you can slowly jump kick, and you can grapple. Holding L or R will charge your key meter, which will allow access to a back fist, the spin kick from the first game, the dragon kick, which has been so nerfed it's basically useless. Added to your arsenal and key in so many ways to the gameplay is this block counterattack, which allows you to hammer the enemy with a few free hits. Not like it matters. Even the basic thugs take a ton of punishment. They all feel like a legitimate challenge, and while this may be a bit more realistic, it does make the game just crawl along. This game isn't like the other games where you can just mow through enemies. You have to strategize each and every move, strike when you can, dodge or block. I don't know, it just doesn't feel like a Double Dragon game to me. It's a far cry from other beat-em-ups of the time period. The weapons work differently than the NES games as well. Gone are the selectable weapons of Double Dragon 3, and back are weapons carried by the enemies. Nunchucks and the staff make fights more bearable, and no longer disappear when the enemy you had it dies, though when you transition to a new stage within the level, you will lose it. Knives remain deadly and harder to avoid since you move so slow. This also makes it difficult to disarm a knife-wielding enemy, as you can never catch them. Some enemies throw grenades. Don't try to pick them up, you can't, so just move up and down the vertical plane to avoid them. The enemies are back, though their ranks feel shallow. You got these two basic goons, both with similar attacks, but the Bandana Man can do a sliding kick and seems a bit tougher overall. This palette swap of the Lee brothers has some of your moves, so expect spin kicks and dragon kicks. This Chinese sword-wielding thug cannot be disarmed, but seems a bit timid, and though he can take a ton of abuse, he doesn't pose much threat. This corporate goon is a bit tougher, but becomes a regular enemy by endgame. Same as this boxer, who appears at the end of level 2, but is soon relegated to regular enemy status. These Kung Fu Masters claim to be the real Double Dragons, and they have the skills to prove it. Watch out when they attack as a pair. They can counter your kicks and dish out massive damage. This fat clown can do a buzzsaw attack, but is generally harmless. 80s Glasses here looks like a typical Double Dragon boss, but never really seemed to give me issues. Even their leader, Duke, was weak in comparison to a flying god queen who could roast me with fireballs and had the fucking force. These enemies, however, minus perhaps some of the bosses, ironically enough, all pose a massive challenge, and each level will just drag on as every fight is an investment. The game itself drops much of the post-apocalyptic theme found in earlier games, instead appearing to take place in modern-day America. You'll fight across what looks like Vegas, an airport, martial arts dojos, a truck, the Grand Canyon, and of course, an evil martial arts temple, but nothing was too memorable, and honestly, I just felt like it was blending together by the end. This game had only the basic structure of a plot, so it's just basically beat the levels. This wasn't too uncommon, but once again, games like Final Fight gave us much more backstory in the intro. It just felt like Technos Japan was making a game to capitalize on the franchise and the new system that had just been released. This game didn't age well, and it wasn't even very much fun back then. It was a game I rented one time and never bothered to play again until a few years ago, when I was put off by how much skill and time it takes to get through even a basic pack of enemies. So what's my final verdict? Well, I wouldn't recommend this game, especially to first-time Double Dragon players. While it's tempting to think a game on a superior console with the word super in its name must be better than its predecessors, you'll only be super frustrated, super bored, and super disappointed if you play Super Double Dragon.